Welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abassi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. We are so happy to have you, me and the listeners, and my two pooches, which, if you're new, you will undoubtedly meet throughout the episodes. Today, I wanted to talk about emotions. And yesterday, I popped into a 12:30 sobriety meeting, and just out of nowhere, I guess, yeah, it was out of nowhere. And it was in a kind of southern, not a little south of Northern Virginia. So um, I like to do that every now and then. I was hoping to maybe add to my network, but it was kind of odd. Like they didn't even acknowledge the people that were virtual. So it was a hybrid meeting, and they never acknowledged that people were on the phone. So anyway, I just listened, and it was a really great meeting, honestly. They were talking about emotions and um, how we a lot of times let our emotions power our decisions and our behavior. And that really resonated with me. And then this morning, my meetings were about step two, which is sorry, my hair is shedding, about restoring us to sanity, believing in a higher power and restoring us to that it will restore us to sanity. And I thought, yep, that's totally related. Like my emotions are what drives my insanity. And then my other morning meeting, because I go to two in the morning, was about daily reprieve. That was a reading from the daily reflection. So all of this is really speaking to me today about I guess where I used to be and where I am now in my emotional sobriety. And coincidental or not, I just started a Blue Sky social media account. And so I was just looking for people that were talking about sobriety. And there was a guy who said something about emotional sobriety. I'm like, okay, this is totally what my episode's going to be about. Um, when I was drinking, I felt like my emotions were going to kill me. Literally, I thought I would die from an anxiety attack. Like it was terrible. And I was on medication and everything. And of course, the medication didn't work because I was drinking. And it says that on the bottle, but who reads the bottle and actually abides by what's on it? You know, today I do. Today I know that I can't eat grapefruit um with my high cholesterol medication. And that's a whole nother story. We're not going to talk about high cholesterol medication when you don't have high cholesterol. But for those of you who just joined as a follower, I also had a stroke 3 years ago. So there's a dual recovery thing going on here. And so sometimes I'll shift back and forth between the two. But that feeling that my emotions were going to kill me, I felt like I was going to explode. There was one time when I thought my life had become manageable and I decided to stop my anxiety medication. And you know where that ended? That ended up with me actually verbally exploding. I was by myself, and it was like the noise in my head, the insanity from my emotions. That's what it feels like, at least, just were so loud inside my head that I finally just swirled my chair around, my office chair around, and I yelled out loud, I can't take it anymore. And got back on my medication immediately. So my emotions were so abstract, meaning like I could get myself entirely worked up about something that happened years and years ago. Um, Today, there are folks that have passed away, okay? And I'm the only one who even has a memory on this earth of something specific happening. And I can still allow my emotions about that to get me upset. Um, our emotions are so freaking powerful. Mine are so powerful. And that's why I need medication. I realize that it's a chemical imbalance, and that's what my medication does for me is it gets those under control. It gets me balanced. Um, and but I couldn't I medication and medication alone wasn't going to fix me. It wasn't going to stop my desire to drink. I mean, it didn't. I drank for years and years while I was on medication. Um, my feelings were the enemy. They were my adversary. And the only thing that I could do that worked for me as far as I could see it was to drink alcohol. And that would quiet down the enemy. It was fighting back. And when I finally needed to stop drinking, I thought, how is this possibly going to work? Like, how am I possibly going to face these emotions without my daily medication, my drinking? Well, what seemed to happen is as the alcohol wore off while I was in detox, and they gave me medication to balance me while it was wearing off. I was actually okay. But I had to do it with medical supervision because I was so uh, dangerously detoxing that I had to use a walker for 3 days. And I always try to encourage people that if you are going to try to stop drinking, it's really important to do it under medical supervision. That's what I needed twice. So the first time I tried to stop, the time when I needed the walker, that one didn't stick. That time in sobriety didn't stick. Why? Because I wasn't willing to do whatever it took to stay sober. I did not take everybody's suggestions, and so I drank again because those feelings, I the feelings, the emotions were there, and I wasn't working on my program. I wasn't exercising the principles in the program in order to subside the emotions, to understand what to do with them. And I was given lots of tools in the program that help me today learn what to do with them because I have to do something with them. And what I was doing when I was drinking was I was quieting them. I was like putting them to bed, you know, pulling the cover over them, shutting the door and turning off the light. Like, you just quiet down. I don't want to listen to you right now. But then they would wake up as hyper as my puppies wake up in the morning when the alcohol, the reaction of alcohol or the yeah, the impact of the alcohol wore off. They were just raring to go in the morning. Yeah, to the point that I was like visibly shaking. That was withdrawal because just the amount of time that I was not drinking while I was sleeping led me into withdrawal by the time I woke up. Some of you have probably, if you're not listening to this because you are an alcoholic, that for me was both withdrawal shaking, but it was also my anxiety, all of it. It was just, it was so freaking overwhelming, and I can't even articulate it. Um, but as I started practicing these principles and doing things like working the steps, calling my sponsor, seeing a an addiction specialist, using my God box. The God box was really a huge tool for me. And today I don't as much physically take a sticky note and write down what it is that I need to let go of and put it in my box. Today, I'm able to do it as a mental practice, but I am still envisioning that. I am still creating this image of the thing that I need to let go and setting it free, whether I'm putting it in a box or I'm casting it off like a balloon. I'm still creating that image in my head because it was hard for me to understand what it meant to let something go. When I was growing up, I was told to get over it, like whatever it is, get over it. And I didn't understand that either, but I think they're really one and the same. It's like get over it for me, as I think of it now, is like it is a mountain in front of me and I need to get over the mountain. That's how I envision it now. But what helps me better is to say let go of it instead of get over it. But I believe that they're one and the same. It didn't strike me in that way years ago, but today it does. And it does because I have a habit now of shifting things into my program and figuring out how they fit. And that only comes with practice. Um, in the past, when I was drinking and in early sobriety, my emotions were gasoline for my anxiety. It just fueled it. And I I had to replace the drinking that was quieting the engine down with something that was making the engine purr, I don't want to quiet it down. I want it to purr. Because if I don't look at things that way, if I don't try to allow the anxiety, the emotions, the feelings to occur, if I don't let that happen, I'm not going to progress. I'm not going to learn from them. And that's really the the origin of our emotions and our feelings. They are there for a reason. They're there in order to help us um, know what to do, how to react to something, how to respond to something. The problem is that throughout my life, I reacted with the emotion powering that reaction. And things didn't go that well. If that, that's why I end up building this list of resentments and this list of people that I need to make amends to because I was not thinking through. I wasn't looking at the emotion, sitting in the uncomfortable feelings and thinking like, what are the different layers of this emotion? Because as I've talked about so many times, I believe in this emotional color wheel, and every emotion really is seems to be tinted a different hue. I don't even know if I'm using the right words, but because it's complex, there's so many different things that I feel at the same time. And if I don't look at that and figure that out and look at that and give them a name, what are the things that I'm feeling right now? I'm anxious, I'm irritated, and I'm excited. Like I can feel all three of those things at the same time. If I don't name them, then what they feel like is anxiety. And not all of those three feelings were negative. There was one of them was excited. So I need to name them and figure out what am I, what is the cause of each one of them and respond to each one of them. And when I do that, I am giving myself that medicine without drinking. I am addressing, looking at, learning from my emotions. So it's it's really a great place for me to sit in and think about today because one thing I also heard this morning was that we can't live life at double speed to make up for the lost time when I was drunk. And I feel like that could be why I am constantly moving. It could be. I don't want to blame it all on that, but I definitely feel like I have this time that I've lost. I was drinking until I was 42, and there's so much that I missed. There's so much that I was there, but I don't feel like I got to enjoy the experience to the depth that I could have if I wasn't drinking. And so today I'm like trying to catch up. I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying to be involved in my kids' lives. Maybe. I mean, I don't think it's more than they want me to be, but I wanna know, like I wanna know what they're doing. And but yet still keep trying to keep a comfortable distance so they are growing more and more independent. It's definitely a strange place. And I do get really upset when I think about how much more I could have enjoyed when my kids were growing up if I wasn't drinking. Like I enjoyed it as much as I was capable of enjoying it until I passed out, you know. But and I wasn't unpleasant to them or anything like that. I don't think at least for the most part. But I do think that I could have added a lot more value to their lives had I not been drinking through their growing up. But I can't regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. So I try, I have a daily reprieve. That's another thing that I was learning or hearing about today is that step 10 spot check inventory throughout the day. And that spot check, um, as it originated in early sobriety, it was looking at what is happening in my life today. Is there anyone that I have been afraid to talk to, said things out of ego instead of out of kindness? Where do I need to make an amends? And then also acting in such a way throughout the day that I don't have to make an amends, so that I don't have to go back and address things that I may have done not to the best of my ability as this version of Rachel. So as that practice has continued throughout my sobriety, um, now my step 10 check-in is also, who can I reach out to today and give? Because today I have a little extra. I may be in dual recovery, but I have a little extra to give. I have a little extra serenity, a little extra soundness of mind where I am capable of helping others. So my spot check today includes other people. That's fascinating. That's fascinating. Um, when um, when I got to this notion that for step two, believing in a higher power that will restore me to sanity, I thought, sanity, like, isn't that isn't that a little bit dramatic? I'm not insane, but when I first heard the definition about sanity is actually soundness of mind, I realized, oh, that is that's the medication. That's the anxiety. That is the the hamster wheel that's just constantly running in my head, thinking, feeling, reacting. That is the insanity. And today I understand, and I know that this is progress, not perfection. I know that for the next half of my life, um, I I get to keep growing and keep learning. But right now, if I do a spot check on my sanity level, I have days that I'm insane. I feel like it. And by that I mean I have days that my anxiety is debilitating. I still have it, but and I talked about this in a recent podcast. I know that that feeling is not something that I need to put the covers over, turn out the light, and shut the door and say, I don't want to hear from you right now. What it is, okay, there are emotions that are yelling at me right now, and I need to listen to them and I need to do something about it. I need to sit with it, feel it. If I need to, I can call my sponsor, I can call somebody in the program, I can talk to my family. I can talk. The important thing is that I talk to somebody, and I can talk to my higher power. I can take action, which for me, a lot of times is in the form of a verbal response. Like, that's one of the reasons why I have this podcast, is to be able to have an outlet, because I have to work through all of that shit that is in my head constantly, in order for me to have soundness of mind, that sanity. And so you guys get to hear the insane so that I get to be sane for the rest of the day. So thank you for that. I mean, I truly appreciate that you're willing to click play. It means the world to me. So thanks for showing up for me today. Thanks for showing up for you. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.